So, Douglas, you were instrumental in producing this consensus statement on the definition of what is called remission in type 2 diabetes. So, I know you have a lot of information to share with us. Could you give us some information, first of all, about the definition? What are we talking about when we're talking about remission of type 2 diabetes?
Thank you, John. So, around 2001, the ADA attempted to define remission. And in that, they had three categories of remission, which were partial remission, complete remission, and prolonged remission. But it wasn't used universally. So at the back end of 2020, but the work actually finished in 2021 and we published it. The ADA, Diabetes UK, and the ESD put together some experts, of which I was privileged to be part of. And we agreed that remission should be defined when HbA1c has returned to below 48 millimole per mole, or in the old money, 6.5. And if this is sustained for at least 3 months without the use of any blood glucose lowering medication at all, then remission can be defined.
So there's those three key elements: the HbA1c, which is that long-term test which is done to give the average reading of the blood glucose, so that particular level, the duration that it continues for, and the fact that there's no medication being used to achieve that. So that's the three key things that was agreed as a consensus. So let's talk more about remission. I think people are aware of type 2 diabetes, the seriousness of it. It's a serious condition. If it wasn't serious, we wouldn't be talking about it. And the fact that we can now actually produce remission is an exciting prospect, and it's a game changer for people who are living with this condition.
Yes, indeed. Remission provides hope for people with type 2 diabetes. In the past, our thinking as clinicians has always been that you get type 2 diabetes, you get put on medication along the line. The medications, either the dose or another medication is added, and the trajectory was that inevitably type 2 diabetes will become worse over time. That thinking, thankfully, has changed.
It is phenomenal, really, for some people, isn't it? So thanks so much, Douglas. And Daniel, I come to you now as a clinician. We are supposed to practice evidence-based medicine. Here was this wealth of evidence that came through. Following on from the evidence or the signals that we seem to get with the bariatric surgery studies, people using adaptations to diet of different forms, as Douglas has said, to now induce remission in people who are living with type 2 diabetes. What did that mean for you as a clinician, for you as a diabetes specialist? What did that mean?
Thank you, John. The one thing since I started practicing and helping patients achieve type 2 diabetes remission in Bermuda and now in Kenya is how patients really got tired with the medications. And it's amazing when even if it's not stopping all the medication, by the mere fact that you can lower the medication, goes a long way. But I can assure you, even to the healthcare professionals, it is amazing concept. It is really rejuvenating, and it's even changing. The other day we were involved in some protocol writing, and I was like, we need to put some statements on remission. And there was a lot of excitement around it.
So, I mean, we're all hopeful. We're all feeling positive about it. That's people living with it. That's us as healthcare professionals. People, we're working with the person living with the condition. So, Douglas, particularly, Daniel, one of the things I would say is I hope that people would have more information about possibility of remission, because we have a previous webinar that people can at their own convenience watch, which will give more detailed information about remission itself. Today we're going to focus on the foods that are perhaps required or advised if you're trying to achieve remission and you're from the Black African, Caribbean communities. So that's what we're focusing on today. So Douglas, in the Black African, Caribbean communities, could you tell us what evidence, first of all, because we said we're practicing evidence-based medicine, and then let's look at those diets in more detail.
So, for example, and I'll show two of them. One was a study in the US that looked at remission in the real world, and these were people who were not taken through a particular intervention to achieve remission. So they were just looking at the data that exists and how many people had achieved remission. And in that, they saw that remission was more likely in those who had shorter duration of diabetes, those who had a baseline of HbA1c that was lower, and also those who were not on any diabetes medication. And this does not mean much, because in most remission data, that's what we tend to see. But crucially, they saw that people from African American backgrounds were 40% more likely to achieve remission. So that's data from the US. But thankfully, we also have some data from the National Diabetes Audit here in the UK. And in that, again, when they looked at the data, diabetes remission was associated with shorter duration, those who were not on any medications, those who were also had a baseline HbA1c which was lower. But when they looked at ethnic disparities, they saw that being Black was associated with 15% less chance of achieving remission.
So, Douglas, was there anything else you wanted to add? Because I'm then going to start to discuss more with Daniel about his, if I can call it that, Daniel, the real world experience that you've had working with people who have put their diabetes into type 2 diabetes into remission. Douglas, anything you wanted to add?
So just a few general comments from me, which is that one, remission is possible. It's possible within different communities. It's possible within people from Black backgrounds. Remission provides hope for both clinicians, but also people with type 2 diabetes. And even if you're not able to achieve remission in the immediate term, we should be encouraging our patients to look at remission as a journey. And any effort that you put in to lose the weight will give you some benefits. The benefits might be that your HbA1c will get better. The benefits might be that your medications, the doses may be reduced, or some of the medications may be taken off. The benefits ultimately could be that you will come off all your medications, diabetes medication, and the benefits will be that you will achieve remission, which is a great place to be for many people with type 2 diabetes.
Wonderful. Douglas, I heard you use hope so many times. And isn't that fantastic? To have hope for all of us as healthcare professionals, as people who are living with the condition. Yeah, hope is a wonderful thing.